Hey everyone, this is Neha from Edureka, and I welcome you all to this session where I will be talking about the fundamentals of Java Regex, that is, regular expressions in Java. Let's look at the agenda for the session. First, I will tell you what are regular expressions. Then I will talk about the fundamentals of Java Regex. After that, I'll talk about the different categories of regular expressions that comprise of matcher class, pattern class, regex character class, quantifiers, and regex metacharacters. And also we will see a demo where I will tell you how to search for a given pattern and check whether it matches or not. And also I will be telling about a email validation where I'll take a set of valid email address and invalid email address and check whether the regular expression helps us in matching the email address and figure out which is valid and invalid. So I hope you found agenda interesting, guys. Now, without wasting any further time, let's get straight into the module. First, let's understand what are regular expressions. A regular expression is a sequence of characters that constructs a search pattern. When you search for a data in the text, you can use the search pattern in order to describe what you are looking for. So for example, you have a regular expression like this as shown in the slide, and you can see that the cap represents the start of the line. And a set which is enclosed within the square brackets represents letters, numbers, underscore, hyphen, everything. It comprises of all the alphabets, numericals, and special characters as well. And also, if you want to write a regular expression which is of 3 to 15 characters long, then you can enclose it within the curly braces as shown here, and the dollar symbol implies the end of the line. So this is the basic regular expression where you can understand how you have to start writing a regular expression and how you can include the alphabets, the patterns, everything within the square brackets, and how to represent the length of the characters in flower braces, and finally the end of the line, right? So a regular expression can be a single character or a more complicated pattern. It can be used for any type of text search and text replace operations. A regex character can be simple ABC, or it can be a combination of simple and special characters like AB into C, or it can be example with braces which includes a D star, D plus, anything. So I hope you understood how actually it looks like. Now with this, let's understand what is Java regex. So a Java regex is an API which is used to define a pattern for searching or manipulating the strings. It is widely used to define the constraint on strings such as password and email validation. So you can see in this below GIF over here that it is trying to search for a regex, that is a regular expression, and it's trying to figure out whether it is able to match the pattern or not. So there are different methods of using Java regex. So let's move ahead and look at the different categories of regular expressions. The first on the list is matcher class. This class is used to perform the match operations on a character sequence. So this is used to match a character sequence. So it comprises of various methods. The first one is Boolean matches. This is used to test whether the given regular expression matches or not. Next, Boolean find. This method is used to find the next expression that matches the pattern. So once you get the matches, then it will go ahead and find the next expression which will be able to match the pattern or not. If not, it stops there, and then it will again go ahead and find the next one. Next, Boolean find in start. So here I'm passing the parameter called in start, and by doing this, it will help to search the next expression from the given start number. So you have one more method called string group. Again, this is used to return the matched sequence. So when you get the proper match sequence by using the Boolean matches and Boolean find, then you have to return the match sequence. In order to do that, you need to write the string group method. Next, in start. This method is used to return the starting index of the regular expression. And similarly, int end is used to return the ending index of the regular expression. And you have the group count, which is used to return the total number of the match sequence. So these are the methods of matcher class. Now let's move ahead and have a look at the various methods of pattern class. Pattern class is a compiled version of regular expression which is used to define the pattern for a regex engine. So again, this also comprises of various methods. First, static pattern compile, and here I am passing the parameter as string regex. Okay. This method will compile the given regex and returns the instance of a pattern. I will tell you how exactly all these methods work with the help of an example after this. For now, let's understand all the different methods. Next, you have a matcher match which comprises of a parameter called char sequence input. So this is used to create a matcher that matches the given input with the pattern. And the matcher is the one which is the previous one, which comprises of a boolean find, boolean search, int start, int end, everything. And this matcher is used to create a matcher that matches the given input with the pattern. So suppose say you have a pattern that comprises of special characters along with the numericals and alphabets. So what it will do, it will try to match the given input with the pattern. So for that reason, you need to use this method. Next method is static boolean matches string regex. So this works as a combination of compile and matcher methods. Next you have string split. This is used to split the given string around the matches of a given pattern. So after that you have a method called string pattern, and this is used to return the regular expression pattern. Now let's see a small example of how exactly it works. So here I have an example. In this I am going to check both categories, that is matcher and pattern as well. So first what I'll do, I'll just import the package for regex. And then I am creating a class called regex example. And inside the main method, I am giving the pattern as pattern.compile dot and dot, that is the starting index and the ending index. So it implies I can use anything as a starting index and I can use anything as an ending index. But the thing is, it should comprise these x and x in between. So for that, I will use the matcher which is used to match the given pattern, right? So inside this matcher, I'll write A and B. So what it will do, it will match the given pattern. So this is the pattern and this is the matcher. I'm using both the classes, that is the matcher and the pattern. So I will check whether the given pattern will match the given input string or not. And if the string matches the given regex, then it will say matcher.matches and it will display the output. So now let's run and check for the output. Okay. So it's telling string matches the given regex, and as I already told you, it will always display the boolean result, that is true or false. So it is telling true. So now even if I give something like this, so what do you think will be the output? Let's run and check for it. So you can see again it's telling string matches a regex pattern. But then if I remove one x from here and then I write x over here, so it does not match the given pattern, right? So obviously it will say as false. So you can see here it's telling false, right? So I hope you understood how to write the pattern and how to write the matcher for the given pattern. And remember one thing, it always displays the output in the form of a boolean, that is either true or false. So what happened here? In this case, internally it uses pattern and matcher Java regex classes to do the processing. But obviously this reduces the code lines, and pattern class also contains the matcher method that takes the regex and input string as argument and returns the boolean result after matching them. So this code works fine for matching the input string with a regular expression in Java. So that's exactly how it works. Now let's move further and see the next category, that is regex character class. So again, even this comprises of various methods like ABC. So it comprises of ABC, which implies a simple class that comprises of A, B or C. Next, negation of ABC. This comprises of any character except A, B or C. That is a negation. Next, you have A to Z and capital A to Z, which implies a range that includes small a to Z and capital letters from A to Z. Next, it has A through D or M through P. That is a union. That is A through D or M to P. And next you have D, E or F, which is an intersection for A to Z. And next you have A through Z except for B and C. That is AD to Z. That is a subtraction, but you have to negate B and C. Okay? And the last one is A through Z and not M through P. So these are the various categories of a character class. Let's again take a small example and understand whether this works fine or not. So now let's check how this works. So again, inside the main method, I'm using a pattern.matches method to check whether the given set of characters matches with the given pattern or not. So first, it comprises of X, Y, and Z. So you can see here all the character set comprise of the simple class that is ABC, that is XYZ. So when I pass WBCD, it will obviously return false because it is not among X or Y or Z. And now if I just pass X, it returns to Y because inside this class, it comprises of X, Y or Z, right? And again, if I try to pass double X, 5Y, and 1Z, it returns false because X and Y comes more than once. So that's the reason it will return false. Now let's run and check for the output. So as I have already told you, it returns false, true, and false. So this is the given character class, right? And if I try to match the pattern that is out of the character class, then it will obviously return false. So this is how you can write an example for character class and check whether the given set matches with the input pattern or not. Now let's move ahead and understand what are regex quantifiers. The quantifiers specify the number of occurrences of a character. So again, even this comprises of various methods. For example, x followed by a question mark. It implies x occurs either once or not at all. Then you have x plus, which implies x occurs more than one time. And x with a star, that is a multiplication symbol, implies x occurs 0 or more times. And if you have an x followed by an n within the curly braces, it implies x occurs n times only. And if you have a n with a comma, then it implies x occurs n or more times. And if you have a parameter like y comma z, then it implies x occurs at least y times but less than z times. So these are the various methods of regex quantifiers, and let's see even how this works. So inside the main method, I'm simply printing this thing, that is quantifier, and now I will try to check whether the pattern matches or not. This symbol in the quantifier implies it should occur either one or it should not occur at all, right? So when I say A, Y, and Z followed by a question mark, and inside that, if I just pass a parameter A, it will say true, which implies A occurs only one time. Next, in the same category, if I write A 3 times, it says false because A comes more than one time. So as I've already told, the symbol implies either once or not at all. Again, in the same category of class, if I write this, it will again say false because all these alphabets comes more than one time. So that's the reason. Again, even for this case, which says AMNTA, it is false because MNT is not under this category and A comes twice. That is the reason. And this should be true because AYZ again does AYZ as well. Okay. Next, plus quantifier implies what? It should occur more than one time. So AYZ plus implies it should occur more than one time. So it says true because A comes once. Even if I write 3A, again it says true because A comes more than one time. And even if I write this pattern, again it says true because it comes more than one time. And even if I write this, it says false because MMT is not a matching pattern. Okay, that is M and T are not a matching pattern. So this implies it should occur either 0 or more number of times, right? So when I give this pattern followed by a star, which implies, and if I write the matcher this, it says yes, because A, Y, and Z occur either 0 or more number of times. So let's execute and check the output. So you can see here the results with respect to the above, correct? So as I've already mentioned you, quantifier works with star plus and question mark. It implies either it should come one time, or it should come 0 or more than one time, or it should occur more than one time. So depending on the type of the quantifier, you can give your matcher and it will check whether the given pattern matches with the quantifier or not. So this is how it works. So the last category on the list is regex metacharacters. So the regular expression metacharacters work as shortcodes. So dot implies it can be any character. D implies digit. Capital D implies non-digit. S represents any white space. And capital S represents non-white space character. W can be a word character and caps W can be a non-word character. B can represent a boundary and capital B represents a non-word boundary. So out of all this, you can understand that it just represents what? A shortcode, right? So let's also check an example of how exactly this works. So inside the main method, I have written meta characters D. So D means digit, right? So in D, if I give ABC, it will say false. Again, and in D, if I give 1, it says true. Why? Because digit comes only once. And in the same D, if I give 444 and 3, it says false because digit comes more than once. And inside the D, if I give a combination of digit and a character, again it says false, right? So now in case of meta characters capital D, so if I give a meta character capital D and if I try to write an alphabet that is a character, it says false because capital D means a non-digit, but it comes more than once. So if I give and the capital D as just 1, it says false again because it is a digit. Again, the same thing goes with here as well because these are the digits. So in this capital meta character D, if I give a matcher M, it is true because it is a non-digit and it comes only once. So a meta characters D with the quantifier. So if I give D and followed by a star and if I pass ABC, then it says true because it is a non-digit and it can occur 0 or more number of times. So in these cases, what happened? I just use a single meta character and I tried to pass a string. So that was the reason it was telling false. Now if I give this, it obviously says true because it is a non-digit and also it can occur more number of times. So here only if I give D plus, so it will say true only. So this is how it actually works. So that was all about the meta characters. Now let's move further and see a small demo where I will tell you how to find the given pattern out of the string, and also I will explain you how to verify the email validation. Okay, so I have an example over here. This is used to find a given regex pattern and it will also check whether the given string matches with our given pattern or not. So I have a class called demo and inside the main method I'm using scanner sc is equal to new scanner of system.in. I am using a scanner class because I want to read the input from the user. So first what I'm saying inside the while loop I'm telling enter the regex pattern. And I have to obviously use this because I want to scan for the next line if there is anything as such. Then I'm using a patterns pattern class to compile the given regex pattern, that is a user input pattern. And then I will use the matcher class to match whether the given input string will fall under this given matcher or not. If not, it will say match not found. If it will find the pattern with the help of a matcher.find, it will say found the text, whatever is entered by the user at the starting index of what is the start of the index. The matcher group is used to return the matched patterns group and the ending index, and finally it will retrieve the matcher.end, means the ending point. So it will say found the text at the group starting at the index, the location where it started and the location where it ended. If it is not found, then it will say matcher is not found. So let's execute and check for the output. So it's asking me to enter the regex pattern. So what I have to enter, either I have to enter a part of it or I can enter the full thing. So I will do one thing. I'll just type YouTube channel, right? So you can see it is telling found the text YouTube channel, the one which I entered, starting at index 19 and ending at index 34. So now check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it is starting at the index 19 and it ends at index 34, which is this thing, right? So again, if I enter the pattern Edureka and I'll keep it as small, it says match not found. Even the case sensitivity also matters. No matter you give the same string, again the case sensitivity also matters a lot. So if I give welcome, it says it is starting at the index 0 because this is 0 and it ends at the index 7, correct? So this is how you can match the pattern with the given input string. So this is all about the searcher and the finder. Now let's see a small example of email validator. So I have created two classes here, one for email validator and the other one is for the testing of an email validator. So in this regard, I'm performing a email validator test, that is unit testing. So inside the email validator, I need two classes. One is a pattern and the other one is a matcher. So the email pattern that I'm going to give comprise of all this. That is, this is the starting index as I have already told you, and this is the ending index, right? So it should comprise of all these things plus these things, and there should be a @ symbol because it's an email address, followed by again a digits and small and capital letters, and again the same thing. And it can also comprise of more number of digits, and finally it has the ending pattern, right? So inside the email validator, I'll try to match with the given email pattern, and I have a boolean validate final string hex. So this is used to match the hex of the given parameter, and finally it returns the matcher. And now I have the email validator testing. So here I'm using data provider to provide the data, and this will be the unit test case which I will be running as a testng test. So if you wish to know more about what is testng, how exactly it works, what is unit testing, you can check out the videos on our YouTube playlist and you will get hands-on on even those topics as well. So now you have a public class email validator test. I'm going to create an object of a new email validator, and using the data provider, I'm providing the valid email address that comprises of a string followed by a @ symbol, and then it comprises of the domain followed by a particular domain. It can be .net, it can be .com, .co, anything, right? Which implies it has to comprise of this followed by @. If it is Gmail, so it has to compile Gmail dot again com test, anything. So these are the email address which is valid. And I again have an invalid email address. So you can see if I simply give as Edureka, it is not a valid email address, right? So the email address should comprise of this pattern. If not, it is an invalid email address. Again here, Edureka followed by a dot and gmail.com. Again, it is an invalid. So again, you can see after a gmail.com, again it comprises of something that is also a non-valid email address. Comprise of star, percentage, so many things, right? So these are not a valid email address. So what I'm doing, I'm using @test annotation to test the valid email address. So here what I'm doing, I'm passing the valid email provider. So what happens is it will check both the valid and invalid email address and it will display the output. So the data provider is used to provide the set of the data, and from there you can validate the email address. So I'm writing two tests, one for valid email provider and the other one for invalid email provider. So whatever is present in this, I'm sending it to a variable temp and then I'm validating that. And finally, I'm checking if the result is true, then I'm using assert equals to true. And if the result is false, I'm giving assert is equal to false. So let's check the output. So I'm going to run it as a test-ng test and let's check for the output. So you can see here, first, the valid email addresses till here, right? So these are the email addresses which are valid and that's true. And now talking about the invalid email addresses, it starts from here and it is false. Why? Because that's not true. That's the reason it is false. And it will also return the string for valid email test and the invalid email test. So both on the default test and suit, the test that was executed was true and there were no failures because whatever I have written the code was working perfectly fine, and that's the reason. So even if I have to check the result of running class email validator test, you can check all these. The test that was run was true, one is valid and one was invalid. And this is the class name which is followed by a package. On both the default suit and test, the test was run within these many seconds. Yes. So this is how you need to validate the given email address and check whether it is invalid or invalid. That's exactly how it works, and I hope you got a brief idea about what is regular expression, how you write a regular expression, what are the different categories of regular expressions, and how to configure your program and check whether the given regular expression or a pattern matches with the given input string or not, and how to validate an email address as well. So that was all about this session. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for attending this session and have a nice day.